Don't take that deal on today's Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore. Hey, how are you? And welcome back to another edition of Modern Day Leper with Ahmad Blakemore. How's it going? So, you've been accused. They've charged you with a sex crime. And you are wondering how you're going to pursue this case in defense of yourself. When all of a sudden, the DA comes with a deal. Why would the DA offer you a deal? Do they love you? Do they care about you? That's not why they would offer you a deal. These deals that the DA is offering, the only time they offer something is when they are at a deficit. They have a deficiency. And so they're offering that deal so that they don't have to take a step that they don't want to have to take. Here's what I mean. The DA has a lot of power. The DA, law enforcement, police have what no other agency or person in the world have the ability to do, and that's remove you permanently from your family, from your friends, and from society. Sometimes this is done properly. Sometimes this is done improperly, as there are a lot of people who are in prison right now for things that they haven't done. And most of these people have taken deals. They put themselves in prison. How is this possible? How is the DA able to do this? The reason the DA is able to do this is because of a four-letter word known as fear. Because we're afraid of prison. Because we're afraid to lose our family, to lose our loved ones, to be taken away from society. We are leveraged by the DA using that fear. This is the first tactic that they will use in offering you that deal. And most men, when they are offered a deal in fear, the first person they look at is their wives. How is my wife going to survive without me? I don't want to lose my wife. They know that that's powerful in the process of offering you this deal, telling you that these 25 years is a steal. And you better take it. You better take this 25 years, because if you don't take this 25 years, we'll give you 35 years when you go to trial, and you'll never see her again. You'll be old and gray by the time you get out of jail. These are the tactics that the DA uses. Again, why would the DA offer you a deal in the first place? Most of the time it's because they're deficient. And one of the areas they're deficient in is they have no evidence. They may say, you touched somebody here, you touched somebody there. There's no proof. This person had sex with this person. There's no proof. There's no rape kit. There's no DNA. There's no samples. No bodily fluid. And that person has already had sex with 2 other people since then. So there is no evidence. So they need you to take this deal. The case is weak. The case is weak. The person that reported the crime is not even the person that's supposed to be the victim. And the victim is not cooperating. And the victim said it didn't happen like that anyway. So the whole case is weak. Besides, there are 2 or 3 different accounts of what happened from 2 or 3 different people, and nobody can corroborate a story. The whole case is weak. So they want to offer you a deal. And then there's the big one. Our county doesn't have any money for trials. What? Of course, it's a real thing. I hadn't heard of it either, but it's a real thing. Some counties don't have money for trials, and they don't want to have to go to trial. When I went to trial, if I had gone to trial during my case, the trial was $40,000. That's how much it costs to go to trial. And so the DA don't want to spend that money on these what they call throwaway trials. They want to save that money for bigger trials. So they try to get these smaller trials or cases out of the way, disposing of them by not going to trial, by offering you a deal. The problem is they still want you to do all that time, though. And here's the other part of it. When you sign on that deal, they just created a sex offender. Because you weren't a sex offender until you were convicted. But if you sign on that deal, remember, there is no jury. There was no jury of your peers. There was no evidence. There was no one who got on the stand and accused you and said, this is what you did. That never happened. They went around that process and got you to sign your name to the deal. And guess what? You're convicted now as a registered sex offender. The DA likes it this way because they don't really care about the position they're in as an assistant DA. The assistant DA wants to be the DA and the DA wants to be state's attorney. So everybody's working on their goals. You're just a part of somebody's vision board. You're just a part of somebody's 100% conviction rate. And the reason they have that 100% conviction rate is not because they're going to trial, looking at the evidence, putting the witnesses on stand, cross-examining, making sure that they found that that criminal was guilty without a reasonable doubt. No, that's not what happened. That guy was trying to go home. And so he wrote what they told him to write so that he could get home. That's how these deals work. We believe as the public that law enforcement is doing their job at every level. That's not true. These burdens have been transferred to the accused through fear. And because he's afraid, he's talking, and he's talking, and he's talking, and he's talking, and he's talking. And he took a situation that had no evidence against him whatsoever and gave them enough conversation that they just put something together. This'll work. And if you tell them that's not what happened, they'll ask you the simple question: who do you think the jury's gonna believe? You or the DA? And that is the sole crux of the matter. who the general public will believe. The person who's accused, fighting for their lives, begging and pleading that they get a fair trial so they can come home, or the DA who can write anything he wants, pin down anything he wants, offer any stagnating amount of time from 100 years to 6 months probation time served. You know what I mean? So they offer you all kinds of craziness. And most of the time, they don't even have anything until that scared person starts talking. This is why you cannot take the deal. Make sure that your lawyer is on point with you. And if you have a public defender, aka public pretender mouthpiece, and he agrees with everything that the DA says without rebuffing anything, without pushing back on anything, and they're just lockstep, you need to fire that public defender and find a lawyer. And I know a lot of guys say that they can't afford lawyers. You can't afford not to have a lawyer. It's real. They can take your freedom away. But the rule of thumb is never take the first deal. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't want to go to trial either. Not only can you pass the first deal, you can pass the second deal. And if you are like me, you can pass it all the way to the 4th deal. They don't want to go to trial because they just don't have the funds. And believe me, you're a part of somebody's vision board. You're not that important to the DA at all. They just want to get a conviction number on you and move your case. You're just part of the assembly line. Unfortunately, your family will be destroyed. The DA is willing to destroy your family for their goals, their dreams, and their aspirations. Make sure that you dot your I's, cross your T's, do your homework, and you have good representation, because it's your life. Do you want to put your freedom in the hands of a public pretender? A lot of people have done it, and a lot of innocent people are in prison. I'll tell you, don't take the deal, especially the first one. I'm Ahmad Blakemore. I am the modern day leper, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great one. Bye-bye.